Oh, there you are, old chap. Good boy. Come up then, Chuckle. So, hello. Today I'd like to take a look at this, which is one of my all-time favourite jackets. There are two of my all-time favourite jackets. The first one that I was most familiar with as a child was the Disruptive Pattern Material jacket that you're looking at now. And these were issued by the British Army from around 1971. Although they were known as the 1968 pattern, they were issued around 1971, and they had this pen pocket on the sleeve. They had 4 flat pockets, 2 on the chest and 2 down below. They came with cord ties to sort of scooch it around you, and this set of buttons was for this beaver tail that was at the back that you could unbutton and then tuck it under your legs, you know, and to keep the warmth in. It was all designed about warmth. There are 2 labels in this jacket, but unfortunately they're all washed out. Maybe, if you're lucky, I don't even know because there's so much shadow going on today and I can't see because the sun is so strong, but maybe you can work out something there. It was all about talking about keeping cool or warm, or the hood, and that's the other label, equally as washed out. This one's a size 8, so it fits me. I actually wear it most days, you know, to sleep sort of thing. I go to bed in it, you know, obviously. Not joking. I wear it when I'm going to the woods or whatever. The hood is actually quite new. So that was from, shout out to Silverman's in the Mile End Road. They're a great military supplier, and that's where I bought this hood from, made by Remploy, as you can see. Wonderful military surplus supplier, Silverman's. Been going for bloody years. In fact, my first ever DPM jacket was from Silverman's. My dad took me up there to the Mile End Road. We went up on the tube and we bought me a jacket, because in the old days I was in the cadet force, the CCF, the Combined Cadet Forces, and we only had these horrible green anoraks which were pretty useless. So my no, at ease, mate, at ease, stand at ease, bless you. So my dad sort of, I hinted, as kids do, you know, oh, can I have an ice cream please? And my dad sort of said, okay, I'll go up and we'll see what we can do about getting you a DPM jacket to match the trousers that I was wearing at the time, which were DPM. This one's an earlier pattern one, because it's got the little dots. If you look at it in the camo pattern, you'll see the little dots whizzing a boot. So this is probably very early 1970s, 71, 72, probably first issue type thing. There was, yep, okay, there was also a boonie hat, which came a lot later, and there was a cap, which is very interesting. Well, the cap, this cap is fake, because obviously I can't work out the light today, sorry. That's my dad's regiment, the King's Royal Rifle Corps, and so I put that badge on as a tribute to him. That's what he would have worn in 1952, but obviously that cap badge wouldn't be on this hat normally. This is just a tribute to my old dad. But that was the crap hat, I think the Americans call it, or the DPM cap. I mean, I've got it stuffed with bubble wrap to make it look like it's a cap sort of thing, rather than just being flat. And then they had a boonie hat too. That's made by Remploy, by the way. And that's a boonie hat that came later. This is a later design pattern. Yeah, that's a later camo. My other favourite is this one, and I love it a lot. I mean, this is I think they call it an M82 or an M81 or M82 mark, you know, when it was made, and it's an American. In the old days, the American military just wore the same camo. I know it's all changed now, but this was called the woodland camo pattern. And this one's a large long, as you can see by the label LL. I mean, I've not written that in there. That was what it was in there already. Pluses I like about this is buttons. I love the buttons. I love the button pockets, and the pockets are bellowed. They're actually bellowed out, so they've got more capacity. And I wore one of these, you know, when I lived in Australia. I've been all over the world, me. I'm a sport little sod. I've been all over the world, me, mostly surfing. But at this point in time, my parents were abroad and in Australia, in the great southern land. And I went into a surplus shop and I saw one of these and thought, "Ooh, this is not the one I saw originally. Obviously, I had that one. I don't know where it's gone." And I thought, wow, that looks like a really utilitarian jacket. And by God, they are. In a hot country, they're really good, these BDUs, because they're lightweight. They've got no liner like obviously the DPM one is fully lined. It's got pockets, it's heavy. And oh my God, is there a tenner in there? Oh no, sorry, I thought it was a, checking. But of course, they're fully lined and cotton liner, and they're very, very heavy. And when they get wet, they're like, wow, really? A nightmare. But this little monkey, when it gets wet, dries out, especially in Australia, very, very quickly. So obviously it's got buttons going down the front. It's got reinforced elbows, and it's got button adjustable cuffs. And I love it all. I tell you, I really like it a lot. Somebody stuck that on there. I don't know what that is, probably for a rank. That Velcro is not familiar to me as being standard issue. So that was probably the rank for the person that was wearing the jacket, because you can see it's been used in the military by, there's a missing patch there, isn't there? There's another one there, so I presume it either said US Air Force, US Marines, US Army or whatever, and then the person's name. These, as I say, we originally used, I love the pattern by the way, the woodland camo just fucking rips it. But yeah, they were used by everyone, and then one fine day I think the US Marine Corps said, nah, stuff it, we're tired of looking at everyone wearing our BDUs, and I think even the Taliban or something were using them, you know, which was a mortal offence sort of thing. So they said, oh no, we're having our own camo patterns, and that's how it all changed, and that's how it all went. But originally, back in the day, in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s even, everyone in America wore this wonderful woodland camo pattern. The Navy, the Army, you know, US Navy, the US Army, the US Marine Corps, the US Air Force, the whole schmoosh were wearing these wonderful jackets, and they are wonderful. I mean, mine's old, but I still love it. I mean, I wear it. I wear it. This is in the summer. I wear this in the woods because you see more animals. As I say, you see more creatures when you're going in. So comparably, the patterns they're not that far apart, are they? I suppose DPM and US woodland camo. At a push, I think, although I'm a real DPM sort of nut, at a push I think I'd prefer the woodland camo pattern, because I just think it's more subdued. I just think it's not as yellow. It's although having said that, of course, look at the bushes today, that they're really yellow, aren't they, because the new sprouts on the spruce, sort of on the hedges that I've got in the garden. But so yeah, that maybe might work a little bit better at this point in time. But I don't know, they're both very good. They're old coats now, of course, and don't expect to get any warmth out of the BDU if it's winter, because it's a lightweight, what it is, it's a lightweight shirt jacket. I love them though, and you can always wear a fleece underneath and get a bigger one to put over the top. They're not, neither of these coats are waterproof, and I would argue that the DPM one is actually a menace when it gets really wet. I mean, even the zip it's got on it is this zip actually, I don't know if it's original, who knows, probably it is original, but it's a very thin and scanty looking zip, although it's got the correct kind of cloth backing. But these used to be brass back in the day, old brass zips, and they were really heavy, and it all added to weight. And as I say, when you were trying to do a training course or something, you know, like I was, I tried to join the Royal Marine Reserves. Can you believe it? But I didn't get away with it. Although that wasn't my fault. I crashed. Well, I didn't crash. Some kids crashed into me on a motorbike. Well, I was on the bike and they were in a bloody car. They were in a freaking Range Rover. Anyway, it's a long story. If you've watched my channel, you'll know. There you go. That's a repair I did because there was a rip in this coat. Because these larger sized ones, if you're a fatty like me, you need to. If you're short, you need size 3. If you're taller, you need size 6. If you're really tall, you need size 8 or 9. And that's the way the sizing works. It goes from 1 to 9, but obviously not always, do you think, well, size 2 is bigger than 1? No, it ain't. It's just not. So you'd have to look that up. But as I say, if you're like me, you need either 3, 6 or 8 or 9. And in American sizing, you get all sorts of things like short, you get short, long, short, tall. No, I'm joking. I love my American friends, and I massive respect to them. And also I love these jackets, as I say, large, long. This one is large, long. So that's somebody very tall, very fat like me. That's perfect for me. But you can get large, short. You can get short. You can get short, medium. Again, you'll have to Google it. But check out rather. Make out. We can make out if you want. I'm cheap, but no. I'm joking aside. If you want to get one of these, make sure it fits you, because there's nothing more frustrating than ordering a jacket and then the darn thing's too big or too small, or the button busters that I call them, because I can't get into half the stuff now. Christ, I'm barely fitting into this bloody garden. I'm so fat. And Jimmy can talk. Hey, you, look at that for a fat stomach, innit? Well, I'm a fat pair, aren't we, me? And yo, it's true. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching, and very best wishes. All the very best. Cheers.